I am an ex-Amazonian. Actually, I want to start by saying how many people in this room used to work for Amazon? There's a lot of you. How many of you used to work in the Slough days? This is the next question. Yeah. So you will all remember our famous canteen staff at that time. I was fortunate to start my career with Amazon back in 2009, where I worked across Marketplace and was there when we launched the program that we know today as FBA. I also remember sitting on the 9th floor of this all-hands Amazon experience, and they told us about Black Friday. And I remember sitting there thinking, what the hell is Black Friday? Well, Black Friday has completely changed the shape of retail, especially for Q4. I left Amazon to go and work for some well-known toy businesses, and I used the experience that I had with Amazon to shape the e-commerce strategy for Tony and Melissa and Doug. In 2019, I decided to launch my own agency, where I wanted to drive sustainable growth for many e-commerce businesses with one approach, which is only a strategy-first approach. I've coined a phrase that I talk to many clients about, which is the Amazon mindset. So what is the Amazon mindset? An Amazon mindset is, I see through many clients that I talk to, that understand the importance of Amazon, but not only just understand the importance of Amazon, but use that to drive and shape the e-commerce strategy. Many businesses will either love or hate Amazon. To me, it's like Marmite. A lot of businesses will sit there and say, Amazon are driving my prices down. Amazon are just taking more of my money. Amazon are just taking my traffic. Amazon are taking my customers. Well, if you have an Amazon mindset, you'll understand the importance, how Amazon needs to feature part of your overall e-commerce strategy. They will put people in their team to manage Amazon correctly. They'll service the stock levels that Amazon are asking for. But they'll do this skillfully because they'll balance this across all their other channels, not just e-commerce, but bricks and mortars as well. So, who should you hire to handle your Amazon channels? This to me is a bit of a dream team. I also appreciate that many businesses can't hire all of these people in their Amazon team or their e-commerce team. And there are budgets, and therefore you're not going to be able to do that. However, this is a dream team. I have clients asking me on many occasions, who can take my Amazon business further? An e-commerce account manager is absolutely the most pivotal person. They will be creating and driving that strategy. But we've heard so much about Amazon data. I can't see Dan right now, but we talked so much about some of the data, the A9s in the world. You need somebody to analyze all of that. But your analyst should be able to not just analyze that data, but give the e-commerce account manager some insights into what to do with that data and how to grow your sales even further. And then you have a marketing manager who's responsible for all things related to content, to brand building, to Amazon advertising. And then, of course, there's all levels of admin support, whether that's FBA shipments, whether that's forecasting, whether that's any case management, buying, etc., etc. Now, with this dream team, there's a lot of noise in the market about if you have to pick one, who do you pick? The truth in all of this is you can't ask one person to be managing all four of these kind of skills. They're very, very different. And that's why there are a lot of agencies out there that are doing a lot of this work for you. So why should you have an internal team? Now, having an internal team, of course, makes lots of sense to lots of businesses. They will build and retain their own internal knowledge. When I was at Toby, when I was at Melissa and Doug, I had my own team. I was head of e-commerce for these businesses. And we retained our own knowledge. We understood our own forecasting processes. We understood our own order processing systems. And therefore, we knew what we thought was to manage Amazon effectively. It seems that there is a lower cost structure when you have your own internal team. However, I have just demonstrated to you that there are 4 very key skills that you need to have in that team, and therefore this kind of goes on to the cons very quickly. Core competence and costs. Once you do develop and understand what are the skills that you need in your own internal team to manage Amazon, you'll realise very quickly that you do need these 2 to 3 people. Not only do you then need these 2 to 3 people, you also need to have somebody to manage them. You also need to understand what team they need to fit into. Amazon touches so many parts of anyone's business: sales, marketing, and operations. So you need to evaluate who is managing this team and who is also talking to the rest of the departments to drive your Amazon business further. Internal team turnover. I was talking a little while ago to somebody about how the Amazon skills in the market are in such high demand. Everybody wants an Amazon person in their business. And it's not just brands that are out there looking for it, it's also agencies. I'm recruiting at the moment and it's really hard to find good Amazon skills. And why is that? COVID has accelerated the importance of Amazon. COVID made every business realise that they're either having to play with the beast or they're going to lose. So they're having to find that talent in the market. And lots of people then have hired Amazon talent but are willing to pay above the odds. Salaries in the market have increased over 40% on Amazon. So if you have the word Amazon on your CV, everybody wants to talk to you. And then there is the ones that are ex-Amazon. How many ex-Amazonians in this room have been recently approached for a job? And they'll put a price on it, which is a very large figure. The truth to this is, as an ex-Amazonian, I will say this quite loudly, hiring an ex-Amazonian in your business isn't necessarily the right thing. When I left Amazon, I had a very one-dimensional view. That was everything relating to Amazon. I then went and joined Tommy and Melissa and Doug, and I understood and learned the concept of a negotiation needs to be a two-way thing. I also learned the importance of bricks and mortar, and I also learned the importance of how you need to balance your Amazon business correctly. When you have your own internal team managing Amazon, there is a lot of pressure, I'd say, put onto this internal team to be part of all the knowledge that exists in the world of Amazon. That team will only know what they're doing, whether it's seller or whether it's vendor. They'll only know that. And what's typically happened is you will sometimes have a contact with Amazon. And that contact will either be in Amazon advertising, or if you're lucky enough, it will be a contact in retail. And there is a lot of weight put on to that relationship because, let's face it, how many of us have had listings that are blocked or, orders not received or all sorts of things like that. And there's a lot of weight put on that relationship. In this new world that we live in with Amazon, everything is a phrase that I'm cringing as I'm saying it, hands off the wheel. That means you either have to pay to have a relationship with Amazon with the programs such as AVS, or you basically just do it yourself. So your own internal team can no longer rely on that relationship that they used to have with Amazon. Real-time comparative information. Your own internal team needs to stay constant in the knowledge and the world of Amazon. Somebody mentioned about Amazon unboxing earlier as well today. How many members of your internal team will know about that? Or how many of those internal members of your team will have understood the latest Amazon advertising program, or what works or what doesn't outside of your own brand and your own products? So let's discuss why you potentially could hire an agency. It saves time. Hiring any kind of talent can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months. Plus, you need to train them. You need to upskill new members of the team. Whereas an Amazon agency will hit the ground running with any of your business. It improves efficiency. Your in-house team only work on your own seller or vendor account. And that is why their knowledge is going to be limited. An Amazon agency, a good Amazon agency, will have worked across multiple categories and multiple different brands, across vendor and seller, and potentially across different marketplaces. That means they're going to have a lot of learning, and that will be able they'll be able to put towards your own products as well. Not all agencies are good Amazon agencies, though. You will pick an agency, you may start working with an agency, and you'll realize very quickly that they've not truly understood your strategy as a business. I've had that. As an agency, I've had many clients come to me and said, you've not really understood it. I will say, though, an agency will only ever be as good as you are and understanding what you want to achieve on Amazon. However, there will also be times where, as a business, you'll feel that when you've given your Amazon business to an agency, you've lost the sense of involvement. So, what's the best alternative? The best alternative could be to have a middle ground. An Amazon agency shouldn't necessarily just be treated as an either-or option. It could complement your own internal team. You could have an internal team just managing the content side of your business, but outsource Amazon account management to an agency. You could outsource Amazon advertising to an Amazon advertising agency. You could outsource troubleshooting, consultancy services. You could also use an agency to upskill your existing team. So in summary, in today's world and today's climate that we live in, an Amazon agency could be a real way to strengthen your own internal teams, to gain knowledge about what's going on in the relevant market, and to drive sales very quickly for you. Any questions? That's a lot of questions. I'll try and do that quickly. How secured is my data if you're also working with other Amazon brands similar to ours? Good question. NDAs is the quick answer to that. I can also say, though, it would be super unprofessional for lots of businesses or agencies to share what's going on with one product to another. So, NDAs. Do you think we'll see a day when everyone working in e-commerce will have work for Amazon? No. The world's a big place. I don't think that will ever happen. Great point on one-dimensional view of ex-Amazon. Plenty of work for 18 months. Take first shares, then go to big salary. What's your tip to determine if they are legit? Ooh. I need a bottle of wine to answer this question, I think. When I see a CV land on my desk, when I'm looking for talent in my agency, and I see that they've done 18 months at Amazon, I always ask why. I know that there are exceptions. I know that there are times when you do choose to leave Amazon. I did 4 years at Amazon. I didn't take all my shares. I regret that massively. But are they legit? It's about test of knowledge. Can I actually just add something to that? The whole hiring ex-Amazon piece, it grates me a little bit because a lot of people say, oh, I found a fantastic piece of talent, they're ex-Amazon. Were they vendor? Were they seller? Were they AWS? Were they, I don't know. Give me more. I've forgotten all these departments, right? But they could have done anything and everything at Amazon, but why are they leaving? And what knowledge do they pick up in those past few months? There's also a lot of brand specialists floating around out there as well, but that could be relevant to you. How are agency services priced? And what should be budgeted? Good question. I can talk about myself. I don't know what other agencies charge. Some work on a referral fee, some work on a flat fee, some work on support contracts. I do all three. What should be budgeted? I would say that I get asked the question, how much should I be investing in Amazon advertising? I always say 10 to 15% of your total Amazon sales. Well, if your Amazon sales are zero, what should you be budgeting? I don't know how to answer that because I don't know how to answer that earlier question as well. What's the sweet spot, sales of product, etc., to work with an agency? Another really good question. I would say, right, if you're a new business and you haven't sold on Amazon before and you want to, I think using an agency from the beginning would be very beneficial for you. They would help you with content, they would help you understand data, they would help you with the operations side of it, they would help you with brand registry, all the nice things that you have to do. So a new business should absolutely use an Amazon agency to begin with. If you have a good Amazon agency, they'll also offer to upskill internal people to go manage Amazon on an ongoing basis. Where else you could benefit from hiring an Amazon agency could also be if you have ongoing problems. I don't know, whether it's brand registry or listing problems. So having some kind of support contract with a good Amazon agency that you can go to when your team have got ongoing problems could also be beneficial. I hope that answers that question. Do you think there'll be a day when there'll be more in-house Amazon teams or a mix? Will this be sooner than later? Also, what made you leave Amazon? Again, I need another bottle of wine to answer the last part of that question. Do you think there'll be a day when there'll be more in-house Amazon teams or mix? Right, that is also a very good question. I work across multiple brands and I come across lots of different mixes. Lots of well-known brands have their own Amazon in-house team. They then throw an element of their Amazon piece to an agency, like Amazon advertising, for example. That's the most common thing that people do, or data. I would actually take that one step further and I would say consultancy advice, strategy consultancy advice should start from the top. I like talking to the sales directors, to the marketing directors, to the CEOs, to the MDs of companies, because I like to make them think about what they are trying to achieve in e-commerce and Amazon to allow that to funnel down across their multiple teams. Do I think there'll be a day where everyone will be having their own Amazon teams? No, I think there will always there has to be a mix. There's too much knowledge, there's too much expertise out there, and that knowledge can never get shared unless you're mixing with outsourcing Amazon experience. What would the salary be for an account manager? 50 plus is true. If you want a good Amazon account manager these days, it's about 50k plus. That 50k account manager plus also needs to be supported with an analyst and or an admin function and or a marketing person. What's your top piece of advice? Oh God, why have I just got all the questions today? What's your top piece of advice for your clients for this Q4? Thomas, that better not be you asking these questions. Use an agency. Truthfully, use an agency. Where you see a weakness in your team, whether that's data, whether that's content, whether that's Amazon advertising, bring in some outside expert advice on a short-term basis if that's what you need it to be. But to win this Q4, you're going to need some expert advice. What do you advise in most cases, 3P or 1P? What's your business strategy is the answer to that question. Do you want to become a well-established brand in the market where you're going to be competing? Or do you want to own your own prices and products on Amazon? I actually saw something pop up on LinkedIn today, and it's one for the networking later, but sellers are going to find it harder and harder to set their own pricing on Amazon. There's some noises about Amazon making third-party marketplace sellers have price parity and lowest prices on their products too. So, I probably would have answered that differently a little while ago if I hadn't read that article, and I would have said the hybrid model is the best approach, but I don't actually know, to be honest. Any more?
That's a lot of questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.